quick update on what is going on with my spiders right now. This, I believe, is a brown recluse. It is very small. There's flies in there right now. Here's the spider. Oh, I should not mess with it. It just caught prey. Okay, I will leave you alone. Little baby. It is a tiny little baby. There we go. That's a fly. Where's the spider? Oh, there it is. I think that's it. I can't see. I'm looking through the camera. There it is. There's the spider. I'm trying to figure out if it's a brown recluse, so I'm going to raise it and I'm going to let it get bigger. It's the same size as these fruit flies. And I shouldn't be messing with it right now because it's trying to hunt and it has a hard time with its mobility. Get your food, yo. He caught one. See, he's web catching. I'm used to doing jumping spiders. What a cute little baby. Okay, you're cute. You suck at hunting. You're cute. Platycryptis is a California jumping spider. It's very pretty. Got out. Again, it's Felipe the fourth, I think, or the third. And he got out again. So he got out a few days ago, and he came and got my attention, so I put him back in. So I'm assuming he's going to come back. This is one of the household jumping spiders. As you can see, I have something that appears to be a brown recluse. I just scared her. She went further back into her thing. She is guarding eggs right now, okay? She was starving, and I have crickets that we're taking care of. We have a cricket. We're breeding crickets. We're trying to. And she's, like, crawling all over the top, starving as hell, watching the crickets. So I caught her. It took her captive, and it's been 2 weeks, and she decided to lay eggs. So the holes on here are the size of the head of a needle. So I don't think they're going to get out. She is currently living in this container. I was going to transfer her to a terrarium, but not now. So when they lay eggs, they can have between like 50 to 200 babies. And my understanding is that these animals do not live well in captivity. My lighting is just horrible. Use my glasses. So, yeah, I gotta figure out what to do with the babies. If I let them go in the yard, there's a 90% mortality rate for spiders. Anything bigger than them will probably eat them. So I'm just like, does anybody want any spiders? If I send spiders out, I'm not gonna be, you know, you'll need to pay for shipping and handling, and there'll be a small rehoming fee. But I need to get the packaging equipment and stuff. But, like, I can mail them. They only eat, like, once or twice a week. So I have these other babies. I'll show you my other babies that I'm planning on raising for myself as pets. I'm not going to open the container because there's a bunch of, like, fruit flies that are around. But I have this little guy. He's white. I don't know how close I could get where the zoom function will work. Oh, cute little baby. Oh, he's pretty. He's all kicking in, chilling, and looking around. So this is how you raise the babies. You raise them in these little containers. They seem to be fine. But yeah, there's active prey in here right now, so I'm not opening the lid. I don't want them getting out. And I have a recipe for spider food for breeding the fruit flies. If I was to dispatch babies, if I'm going to hook anybody up with some baby captive breds, then I'm sorry, I'm fascinated by this little dude. Then I want to make sure that you know how to take care of them properly. And then I have another one of these Platycryptis California jumping spiders as a pet, and he broke out. So he came up to me wanting help getting back into his terrarium because he got out. So this one's open right now, waiting for him to come back, because that was just last week. I put this tape over the terrarium. So these guys can, this is a different variation of jumping spider that nobody's really keeping as a pet but me, that I know of. Is a platycryptus. And they have TI intelligence. They think just like the other jumping spiders. They're a little bit more energy. But he does seem to be they seem to be able to domesticate just fine. But they're escape artists. So my other jumpers, I don't have that problem because they're lazy and they're fat. But these ones are escape artists. And I only have this one pregnant female. I'm not trying to breed these other guys. This is my adult. His name is Dribbles. I raised him from a baby. And then there's another one that was running loose in the house a while back that is a male that I've had. His name is Chef Spider. I caught him in the kitchen. He's been captive for about a year now. They live 1 to 2 years. I have 2 that passed away. They only made it to juvenile. They're not very big. They didn't make it. They shed their exoskeletons periodically and they can get stuck. So that does happen. They will disappear for like 1 to 2 weeks when they're fixing to shed, and you need to leave them alone. So it's a pet that does disappear on you in their terrarium. So I prefer to see them in larger terrariums. I don't like seeing any animal. I'm the same about my betta fish. He's in 15 gallons. Be kept in an environment where it has no room to explore. So these are like 1.5 feet or something by like 1 foot, 18 by 12 terrariums that I'm using. And I've already been multiple generations of spiders in here now, so you know I keep using my terrarium. And this is my setup next to my desk. And so I'll be hanging out on the computer, and I don't know where she went. My spider will be like hanging out up there, like we're friends. We vibe out to music, we chill. They do turn stupid. They lose their ability to hunt well when they are kept captive, and that is another reason why I'm trying to figure out if anybody wants any spiders right now. These are the cricket cages. There's only crickets in here right now, but we are breeding and raising the crickets in the house. And they eat carrots, and they get a water misting daily. To tell if they've had enough food, you look at how big their butt is. Like, they get bigger or smaller. He's kind of hungry right now. If their butt is like shriveled up, then they're starving. But they do socialize. They are friendly. They are domesticated. They are so domesticated that if I put their cricket in their cage, they won't be able to find it unless I put it in a bowl for them to come and get. And they also tell me, since they're right next to my desk and I'm at my desk a lot, when they're hungry. Because if I have not fed, then Dribbles likes to sit here and stare at me like, "Excuse me, ma'am, when am I going to get food?" They're very cute. They're very fun. They live 1 to 2 years in captivity. And they can get stuck during molt. I would prefer to get them out smaller. I have these containers that I will raise them in. That's what I have right now, and then some of these. And they will eat fruit flies. And I mean, I could like hang on to some of them and try to get them older, but they can get stuck in molt and die. So that is something that's happened. Straight up though, like I will say, like me being at my desk, I really enjoy having these guys at my desk, period. Like straight up, like my personal opinion, there's a reason why they're here in the first place. So I'm just saying, like I like chilling with the little dudes at the computer, and we like look at each other, you know, and nod, and like we be kicking it. They like music. And I got my fishies. I like to do nano tanks. I don't know if that's something I'm gonna get back into vlogging at any point, but I do like doing nano tanks. We got Moshu chilling in the back. I got my fish and my spiders at my desk, you know. It's like a piece of nature, man. This is like from like a 1 gallon fish tank. But they do make lights. So this, I'm gonna turn it on. This I think is a Zoomed light. I'm pretty sure Zoomed makes these. Yeah, Zoomed. But you could also get like a little LED or something if you want to do one of these smaller terrariums. Like I need to get a light on these. I have not found a manufacturer for the terrariums that I prefer. Like I don't think that anybody has the terrarium game on lockdown. But what I have is these ones. These are Zilla. It says so on the bottom. Zilla. As you can see, I have had to put tape, and the tape popped loose and the fucker still got out. And that's for the little guys, the flat-end jumping spider. The slits on the side of this, they can fold themselves up. And I'm not talking about a regular jumping spider here. I'm talking about the flat-end jumping spider. He's getting out through these. Because of the fact that the flat-end jumping spider is smaller, I would prefer to see them in these kinds of terrariums, you know, like I think they could function their whole life fine in a smaller one. I hope the little fucker comes back. This is my favorite right here, is this one. This is an Exoterra terrarium. They're not cheap if you buy them new, but this is my favorite. There's no real way that my spider, once it gets to juvenile, can escape. There is a hole in the back that you need to make sure is closed. It closes. But this is my favorite terrarium to have spiders in. The door on it is very convenient for jumping spiders. I personally don't think that people should be keeping tarantulas in a cage this small. I think a tarantula needs a bigger environment. I don't think an animal should be kept in something that it cannot thrive in. But Exoterra is making these terrariums for spiders. We're going to piss off Dribbles real quick. I'm going to show you how to water your pet spider. She's ready for it too. I have a spray bottle, and I'm misting, and I'm staying away from the spider. She's like, look, yeah, look at that. See, they chill, they be kicking in. She's all like, I'm gonna get some of that water. She's gonna figure it out, and she's gonna go get water. We have crickets, and the crickets that got house water from the tap died. Same thing with the spiders. I only raised one spider with tap water, and obviously it died. That would be one of those two. The other one had cancer. So it's not my fault that the crickets died. Family member was using tap water. I use bottled water. And if you're going to put a live plant in your terrarium, you need to make sure it's pet safe. Because if it's not safe for your cat, then if something happens and your spider also happens to sink their teeth into it, then obviously it's going to kill something a lot smaller. This terrarium has not been getting direct light, and it has a living cactus in it. That's been in there for over a year, and it's still alive, and I don't know how or why, because I don't water it. Well, I do spray water for... No, I haven't been putting water in that one. And it's still alive. So, I have to water this plant though. Yeah, I have to water this plant. So, I use bottled water because depending on what they treat your water with where you live, if it's chlorine or chloramine, I think is the issue. I'm not 100% on that because I don't have it pulled up on the computer right now. So you need to use bottled water. You want to mist a light spray to give them water, and then they will drink from the water droplets. I use a paintbrush to get rid of dead fruit flies. And I put them on a paper towel, and then I throw it away. My fruit flies that I have been propagating, they eat mashed potatoes and cinnamon and some nutritional yeast. That is their food. So I just mix the stuff, and then when they start to overpopulate in a container, then I put them in a new container because they're going to run out of food. The house spider that I have captive that just laid eggs, she seems to be able to actually get herself full off of fruit flies. Like, she's full grown. And if I put a bunch of fruit flies in there, she hunts them. But these other guys, the fruit flies get out the side, and they go hungry if I try to feed them fruit flies. So they eat crickets. I had a captive raised that I was trying to feed crickets that had been eating fruit flies as a baby that I raised, that just wouldn't figure it out. But the reason why you want to buy crickets or use the fruit flies is because if you're raising your own food, if the insects that you are feeding to your spider have been raised in captivity, they're a lot less likely to have parasites that are going to kill your pet. But if I give you babies, then you know that it's not pregnant. This is a house spider that killed its mate, so now I have nobody patrolling the house, and now there's creepy spiders showing up. But that is the situation with the spiders. That is what happened. I took in a hungry household family member that required assistance, and she's like, fuck it, I'm just gonna lay eggs, man. I'm gonna stay here. This is cozy. They have a 90% mortality, so they're probably gonna die if I release them. And she's gonna keep laying eggs. So I should probably figure this out, because I don't want to put her outside, because if I do that, she'll probably die. As a house spider, it has not been outside. It lived this whole life inside the house. The ones that are in the house, they come up and they visit with me, and so I keep track, and there's normally 2, and they kill everything else. So the mama is black, and that's what color the babies are going to be, because the dad was black too. So there's, this is something that people do. I am a gardener. I'm a very well experienced, long-time gardener. Several years in the landscape industry. I'm in a bad situation where I'm stuck being indoors all the time. And so for me, I bring the outside inside, and I've become attached to these little guys, and they are my friends, and they are intelligent. They do see you. You can talk to them. Sometimes I handle them. I prefer not to, personally, because I don't want something bad to happen to them. Because like last year, I had little babies, and they wanted to get exercise, and so I'd let them come out and get exercise, and we'll play the jumpy game on my fingers. And sometimes, like, a couple of those guys got loose, and I never seen them again. But other than that, if it's terrarium raised and it's used to being in a terrarium and it happens to escape, normally they do come back to their unit. They will try to get your attention so that you will put them back in the terrarium, because they don't know how to find food if they are captive raised. And when I feed these guys, I have to put the cricket in a dish and hand them the dish, or else they could go hungry. I mean, that's me personally, how I handle it. When training to get the spider on bigger food, I've had to take the cricket and put it in tweezers and hand it to the spider. But there is instruction manuals on raising and getting them smarter and stuff. And other than that, they can pass away if they get stuck in a molt. The last time that one of the household spiders got pregnant, she laid eggs directly above the door. And then when the babies hatched, they went straight out the door. Like, they were all outside. Like, she literally put her egg sac right next to a crack in the sealant to let her babies out. So that spider was kind and respectful about it. If I have a household family member that has a spider that is wandering around in the house, we don't smash jumping spiders. If it's poisonous, it dies. That is the rule in this house. And they help keep the house clean of pests better than I would expect a pet exterminator to. And they're friendly. They're not gonna go around your house and bite you. If you keep your house clean, a spider sees you and they're going to stay away from the places that you frequent because you're giant. And I'm upset about the people smashing innocent spiders out there, because these are tiny itty bitty little creatures that are essentially pretty much an insect, even though they're an arachnid, that do have intelligence, and they cohabitate with you and they take care of you. They keep your house clean of pests, and they think that you're roommates, and they are trainable. Like the ones that I allow to free roam, I train them and they follow the house rules. So, and if they're hungry, I catch them, I feed them, I let them back loose if they're used to free roaming. But these guys that are in terrariums, they're stupid. They don't know how to find food. So if I raise babies, they're going to be stupid like the other ones, because they will have lived their whole life having had food easily handed to them. My understanding is that baby jumping spiders in the wild, they have to hunt and they have to watch others. They have to learn from other spiders how to hunt. So, I mean, they're probably going to die if I put them outside. And this spider that has laid these eggs is my friend. And so on her behalf, I am going on the internet and asking if anybody would like to take care of her children. They can get out, they can escape. If they escape, they're probably going to want back in their terrarium. At least half of them, if not more than half of them that I've had break out, typically go back, and that's from me learning how to keep spiders and not knowing what I'm doing, and I try to keep things sealed up, and unfortunately, Felipe has gotten out again, and this is like Felipe the third. So I don't know what's going to happen to Felipe. Hopefully he'll come back. I'm assuming he will, and I will be watching out for that, because that's typically what they do. Last time when Grandma Spider got out, she sat directly in front of her terrarium, right by the door, and stared at me like, "Excuse me, can you please open the door?" I have found dribbles multiple times in the window, but they don't get out anymore. So I will tell you, when you're looking for a terrarium, this right here, I mean, I like it. I just wish that these companies that make these things better understood what they were doing. What I don't like is the size of the holes on this particular terrarium, and I think it's because they expect people to keep a tarantula in there, and I see nowhere for a tarantula to really get around or have any quality of life. And so then I think that this company Thrive, I really like their terrarium, but I think that they could do a better job by customizing these terrariums for jumping spiders and making the breathing holes smaller. That is the only thing that I think is wrong with this terrarium. My full-grown adult jumping spiders seem to be just fine. They have not escaped. There's been no escape attempts. I really like the door on here. I got these on clearance. There was a sale going on. I wouldn't say it was clearance. It was on sale. So for a cheaper terrarium that's the same size as this expensive thing, I'm happy with it. It's just you do not want a younger spider in here. And for me personally, I want to get them out of the containers as soon as possible and not having them live in Rubbermaids. There's just nothing more suitable. There are some little cubes. I'm not intending on trying to breed spiders. But yeah, my homegirl was like wandering around the house and she got herself knocked up. And there's going to be like up to 200 babies coming out of that egg sac. And once they get pregnant, they could have babies like up to 4 more times or something. So I better figure out how to handle this. And so I figured I'll do a shout out on behalf of homegirl the spider. And see if anybody would be interested in little babies. They are domesticated. They're sociable. They interact. And they're not that smart when it comes to hunting. And if people do wind up contacting me interested in helping these babies out, then I'll probably create a care guide. I've been really stressed out and I'm having a hard time with my sleep. I got like bags under my eyes right now. Like I'm dealing with stress and I'm not sleeping well. And it's because of the things that are happening around us that are just, you know, we get back to normal life. But yeah. Spiders, spooters, jumping spooters. I would be happy to raise them if anybody's interested. I just don't even know what I'm doing. She's just having babies and I'm like, oh crap, what am I gonna do? So I'm gonna get out of here. I think that's all you need to know for now. I could give you a recipe for fruit fly food if you need to be able to make that and want to propagate your own food. Yeah, that's everything. I'm gonna go now. Feel free to contact me. The contact information is in the description of this video. There's my email address. And we can go from there. I don't like paying fees on eBay. So I don't know exactly, like, if somebody wants me to ship them a spider, which I have no problem doing because they only eat like once or twice a week depending on their size. I do not think I will have a problem with shipping them safely. But we would need to discuss like how, and I will want you to put your mail on hold. So I have purchased fish in the mail before, and I had a very, very beautiful fish that did not make it. It was very cold outside. Mailman put the fish in the mailbox. The person sending me the fish did not put a live animal label on there. If you are going to be receiving a spider from me, it is going to say live animal. They need to be kept at the right temperature. So what happens with spiders, and the way that they survive winter is that their body starts to, as it gets cooler outside, it starts to produce what is quite literally antifreeze. The chemical in his body. And that's how they survive the winter. So these spiders are not adapted because she's going to keep laying eggs. I don't know what's going to happen. They're not adapted to the winter. They're not ready for winter. So then I care about them being at the right temperature if we're going to send things through the mail. And that means it needs to be labeled live animal. And it means when it shows up at the mail, you want that to be at the post office. So when you put your mail on hold, your mail stays at the post office. You then have to go to the post office to pick it up. And that's going to keep it at a stable temperature so it's not getting too hot or getting too cold. I am in Colorado. And so if you order from me, that is where they will be coming from. People who sell fish, they do trans shipping if it's so far away. So I got more I need to learn on how to make sure that there's a successful transfer. On packaging, I'm already looking at it. Like, I'm not too concerned about it. I've done fish in the mail. And I think a fish is a lot more sensitive than a spider. So, but I do want to make sure that they arrive safely and in one piece. And I guess you guys could, it's up to you what size you want it to be, but I need to know, like we could make a waiting list or something. I need to know if anybody wants to take care of homegirl the spider's babies. Like, do you want a pet spider to live with you and be your friend? So that is what is happening. That is not a situation that I thought I was going to get myself into, but I also knew it was something that might happen at some point with the way that I've been handling spiders. So yeah, that should be it. There's my email address in the comments, or not the comments, but the description of this video is the first thing on the very top. So if you would like to speak to me about a spider, feel free to go ahead and fly me a message.